Justin, how much confidence does the win over England give the group on a big scale all the time?
It was a great day, wasn't it? It's so much fun to play. I said, I think before the game, England versus Australia at Lords on a Tuesday in a World Cup game. It was so much fun, and then to get to play pretty well will give the guys some good confidence. We've been building up our confidence over the last probably 6 or 8 months though. But it's always nice to beat great teams like England.
Does it give you a bit of indication as well as what being said obviously about the game plan and the like? See what you did on Tuesday was.
Yeah, my response will be exactly the same as it's been for 8 months. Is we know how to play one-day cricket, and the boys played really tough. I think what it does show how important those early wickets are, and when you're not always going to play on flat roads. That's the reality, and that's actually one of the beauties of this World Cup is we've seen some really good cricket wickets. So for our guys, Finchie and David Warner to bat like they did on a wicket which was doing plenty. We were also going to bowl first. Was a great credit to them, and it just goes to show how important it was. You know, we know if you lose early wickets, you're in trouble. We were able to do that to England, and they weren't able to do it to us in that game. So it's just another example of how important it is setting a solid basis. No, we didn't. We weren't sure what to expect actually. Although my experience of England says you could, depending on the overhead conditions, depending on what's happened in the lead up with weather, depending on different grounds, depending on all sorts of. We play on games that have played 2 games, back-to-back games on. We expect, and you've got to be able to adapt to that. That's one of the great things about playing in England. You must be able to adapt individually and as a side. So. I think that's been one of the great parts of this World Cup. We're seeing different wickets, and they're not just 330 plays 340 or big shootouts all the time. It's not as it's a lot of fun watching this cricket, I think.
You've seen Jackson Merrill go through a lot in his time, I guess, as your time as WA coach. How pleasing is that to, I guess, second to the big stage?
Oh, very. One of the reasons he was selected is because we know in England, traditionally, left arm swing bowlers have a real impact. So that's why he was selected, and then to come into Lords and against England on the big stage to bowl as well as he did, would be a great confidence booster for him. I think it's a great confidence booster for the team. I've seen him do it for a long time, and we've seen him do it intermittently in between playing and not playing for Australia. His debut against India in the T20s, I think, was huge. So we know he can do it. He's a very good athlete. He's an incredible professional, so he'll do everything possible to play. So to see those sort of people, he's a really nice person, so to see those sort of guys get some rewards is really pleasing.
Was it long ball for him to make the squad in the first place? Was there much debate about that spot?
Oh, not from my view, no, because I knew that it's actually moving forward for the Ashes. At the moment, we've really talked about Starkey, so, but not in my opinion. No, I think he was a really important part. He's a very good white ball cricketer, mainly in T20 cricket, but if you can transfer those skills into 50-over cricket, you become really important, especially on the back of what we've said, which we haven't seen through this whole World Cup, early wickets. And he traditionally takes early wickets because he swings the ball back into the right-hander, he swings it away from the left-hander. So it was never really a line ball from him, in my opinion.
Justin, should Stephen come in at 3 against England? What do you make of that? How do you reflect on that? What do you make of that conundrum that seems to be going on?
There's no conundrum. No, I don't think so. We were talking, we'd set up at the, I can't remember, I haven't got my diary with me, but to come left-hand, right-hand. So that's just how it worked out. And we knew that they had the spinners, they had the 2 spinners come on. We want to have left-hand, right-hand batting. So, but Stevie will get his chance. We know how much he's playing well. He'll get his chance. Great players step up in big games. He'll get his chance. He had plenty of time in the middle. And like I've said 1,000 times, and a lot in the last few months, if it works, you look like a genius. But no one talks about it. But if it doesn't, you're just a mug. So that's just when you make those decisions in real time, that's the decision you make. So in hindsight, it's a beautiful thing. but I'm really pleased the way it went the other day on a really tough wicket. And we saw how tough it was because we bowled England out for 220 or something, and they're arguably got the best batting side in the world. So it's tough conditions. It's nice to have someone like Usman Khawaja come in, who's been an opener all his life, who's test match hundreds, who's a very good player in good form. It's nice to have that sort of person who can come in and weather a bit more of the storm.
Rob? Semi-finals, you're in there now. Over these next two games, will you look to rest rather than start with Pat Cummins? Is that something?
Probably not, no. I don't think they'd want to actually. And it's going to be one of the challenges for in the next two. One, it's really nice to know we're in the semi-final. It's a really nervous time leading up to it because you can't win the final unless you're in the semi-final, and it's a really tight tournament, so to be there, but I'd be really surprised if either of those two want to rest up. We've got, the challenge is going to be, we've got long layoffs now. We've had a bit of a layoff here. We've got I think 5 or 6 days in Manchester. We have to manage that really well, then go into the first semi-final or second semi-final, so I don't think they'll want to rest.
And you shot into cup favouritism. How would that sit with the group?
I still think, you know, that and I keep saying it, we beat England the other day. I still think they're the favourite. And India, I mean, India are 5 for 200 at the moment, which is a pretty good wicket at Old Trafford. But New Zealand, they've been playing really good cricket. Pakistan are always the dark horse, aren't they? You know, they're brilliantly inconsistent. They're brilliantly talented. Sri Lanka are the same. So who knows? Who knows who's going to? We know we're going to be in the semi-final, so we'd be a favourite to be one of the semi-finalists, I reckon.
Sammy?
Reports in England that England would prefer to play their semi at Old Trafford. In terms of Birmingham v Old Trafford, do you think either ground would?
No, I think it's going to be match play wherever we play. We get the advantage of playing at Manchester next week. But either, they'll both be good cricket grounds. They're both beautiful cricket grounds. They're both good cricket wickets. I imagine they'll both be new wickets. I don't know, I'm not sure, but I imagine they'll both be new wickets for the semi-finals. So wherever we play, that's out of our control in a lot of ways.
Adam Sandler hasn't played for Red past. Where's he currently at? Do you think we're safe again?
Oh yeah, we'll look at the matchups for New Zealand. It's a used wicket, so that we'll certainly look at that. I thought Nathan Lyon did a good job the other day. Really good matchups, particularly against their England's three left-handers. He bowled really well. He bowled well to Butler, which is a great sign because no one more destructive in world cricket is there. So, he's working hard. He's working really hard, and he's like every single one of our players. Like Jason Berriff, a brilliant example. Our motto throughout has been "Stay ready." Stay ready. Will Smith used to say, "Always stay ready, so I don't have to get ready." And I've thought that for 10 years, and that's been a big motto for us, stay ready. You never know when your chance is going to come. We all have to stay ready. So it's the same with Zamps and for Kane Richardson and for Nathan Coulter and for Sean Marsh, who didn't play the last game, and for every one of our players. We've got to stay ready.
You've spoken a lot about matchups in this tournament and using that in 20 over cricket and 50 over cricket. When the Ashes come through, I know you're playing the same thing 5 times in a row, but you can consider kind of taking that same philosophy on the Test cricket side?
I think it probably depend more on the wickets we play on. The difference between the World Cup and an Ashes or a 5-game series or a 3-game series is you just get to see the same, and there might be a couple little changes, whereas in World Cup you're literally playing, that's half the challenge of it, is you're literally playing different personnel, different grounds all the time. So that's probably where it's more significant, I think.
Scott?
So have you learned, well, you've been surprised, I guess, have you learned more as a World Cup goes on how important early wickets are? Because they seem like they're becoming more and more crucial, but either not losing with the bat or taking.
I haven't learned it through this World Cup. I've known it for 10 years. If you get wickets in the first 10 overs, you win most games. And the really interesting trend is that very few wickets have fallen in the first 10 overs, and that whether the ball's not swinging as much, we're playing against world-class players, and we've got 2 world-class openers. So it's been a huge part of us being our success so is the way that Finchie and David Warner have batted together, and our ability, besides the game against the West Indies, to not lose wickets in the first 10. So it's not learning something this way. That's all the data will tell you that in T20 cricket and one-day cricket, Test cricket for that matter, but your early wickets are so important.
Just on New Zealand, there's so much talk about
Oh, strong, yeah, very strong. Trent Bolt, left armer, which we talked about, incredibly skillful. They've got some pace. They've got some guys that have played a bit of cricket. They've still got Southey sitting there waiting to come in. He's an old pro. They've got a good left arm spinner. They've got a good bowling attack. Yeah, they've got some good balance in their bowling attack. No, again, we'll be ready for that.
Can you lean on 2015 at all, the final, mental scars, things like that? Can you make a point of it? New Zealand?
It's a different team. I think yeah, probably that's 4 years ago. Yeah, it's a good question, but you can't look too far back. You can't look too... I know I've gone on about knowing our game because we've won 4 of the last 5 World Cups, so you learn big trends, but maybe when it comes to the crunch, it's just who's going to have the spirit and the hunger and the skill on the day. So different players, a lot of different players, different captains. Probably don't take too much from it. But we do respect what a good team they are.
After the loss to India, there was a bit of criticism about maybe the approach being too conservative up top with the openers, but you feel kind of vindicated that actually that's the right approach, as you talk about not losing any wickets.
Yeah, I do. I've said it for 8 months now, and it's you know, there's criticism, but that's okay. That's part of the business. I think we know our game plan. We're sticking to it, and we're confident it works, and we've shown that over the last 6 or 7 months.
Sammy?
Is there any concern that your pressure might come off a little bit for 1 second to change?
What did I say to you the other day, Sammy?
You said RCR.
I said, do not... No, what I said to you the other day is, one thing you never have to lose 1 second sleep about, my little mate, is that the Australian cricket team after the last 12 months will get complacent. That is not going to happen. So the answer is no.
Last question after that.
Last two World Cups have been won by the hosts, but there's evidence that the past pressures got to the hosts. Where would you stand on that?
I still... No, Simon, I've just been at a lunch and I'll say it publicly again, they're a very, very good cricket team. And we trust me, every team in the world knows that. Obviously there's some pressure now to get into, but they're a very, very good cricket team. They've got their record over the last 4 years shows us that. There is some, but I'm sure there is some pressure. That said, there's also huge benefit to having the World Cup at home. So, yeah, we're all very wary and watching very closely what happens the next 2 games with England.
So we spoke about the New Zealand bowlers. Can we just on Cameron into the how do you get him out and what do you make of his form? He's carried out something in a couple of games.
Yeah, he's a great player, isn't he? He's a bit like Joe Root. He's a bit like Steve Smith. He's a bit like Virat Kohli. They're the guy in the middle who there's a lot of dangerous players around, but you want to get him out because one of the also trends of world cricket is you go deep, you win most games, and he can take the game deep because he's such a technically good player. He's obviously got a great mentality for the game, so he'll be a very important